Look at that, I do believe it's come alive. Thanks. Thanks to black magic. No thanks, Mr. Manager. Hang on a sec, guys. Excuse me. I know, don't blame your tools, but whatever. That express box. Anyway, let's put this together. All right, what a day, what a day, what a day. You shut. We're there. Have I broken my perfect record of being on time every day? Are you happy now? What a day. What a day, what a day, what a day. Took 20 minutes to get that driver, you know, the thing that connects the camera and the computer to work today. Okay, this is going to be a mixed and scrappy stream. Few things. Those of you who are here this morning know that I was doing, look at this, you made us worried. You're like, right, call an ambulance? Come on. This is the problem with being punctual, is on the day when it doesn't work, people panic. Okay, where am I? It's going to be a scrappy stream here this evening. Not sure how long it'll be. I've got, get organized. I've got to do this job. I've got to do part of this job. Let's just get to it. We'll talk about them as they come. What am I going to do with these systems? Just put them out of the way from them. The owl was printed this morning, test proofed for the first time. And we have, this isn't trimmed and ready to go, but we have what we think is going to be, this is still, I don't know, obviously it's going to be trimmed and clean, but this is the, looks a bit pale on my computer screen here. This is what we're looking at. And what still needs to be done, and that's what I'm going to do right now, I've brought the blocks back with me here, is I have to cut away all these parts. Now that we've done test printing, we've got things like this. Parts of it that were we left too long, because I didn't know exactly where, because there was no border on this print. I didn't know exactly where these things were going to turn out. And now that the test printing is done, I can see what's going on. So I'm going to trim back there, trim back the bottom. I have to decide what to do about the leaves up here, because the moment they stick out past the border. And with that done, tomorrow morning, these blocks will be wrapped up and sent to our Ome workshop, where Tsushima-san is raring and ready to go, to get going on them. Here's the different ones I made this morning. You can see we were playing with different moods and stuff like that, a darker, lighter, different things. Are they interesting? I don't know, whatever. These are just random stuff. Some of them were darker. There's any number of ways to do this, you know. Any number of different ways. That's not bad, that's nice blue. Some were a bit more green than others, some were a bit more blue than others. It could have gone with anything. If I put up 8 different versions and asked for votes, they would all get votes. It's just the way it is. So at some point, it's my own taste. Microphone testing 1 2 3. At some point, it's my own taste. I just have to say, we have that expression: cut, print, just go. Where we go. So that's the way it's going to be. And actually, I've got the image online. Let me quickly type it into the chat here. There's an online version of the image. If I get this right the first time, who knows? HTTP. Excuse me. 0334. Where's my underline? Double check it. No, I did forget. I've got the word images. I think that's it. There's the image online. I got a Patreon print this morning. Thank you, sir. Good. Thank you for the thank you. You're already at 105. Well, I've got a few more than you, but not many more. Wonderful support. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Well, as I said, well, I've got some trimming work to do here. So these blocks now, here's the brown one. All set. Take us on. The moon is perfect. Yeah, I don't know. If you, in whatever parts of the discussions you were involved in, the moon as it ended up, this moon is not round. I did decide to go with an elliptical shape, but I couldn't bear to do what they had done and bring it back round on both sides. It just didn't make any sense. So I've left it as a more, what's the word, organic? It's a more of a nice parabolic shape. And I definitely, as you know, I cleaned up the stuttering along the line. I couldn't bear, I just can't. That's not my personality. I couldn't bear to do that. So what we're going to do here is take a junk copy here. Take a junk copy, sacrifice it to show me how much. Am I on camera? Yeah. Take one of the junk copies. Now it'll tell me how much to cut. And then you can say goodbye to it because these blocks are disappearing from here tonight. They will head over to Ome. And that's the last you're going to see them. This one we want straight, so we'll use my straight chisel. To just the other way around, kind of. Plunge. Okay, that's one. Does this one have to come off at the top? Just a touch. Okay, that one's done. The green ones, there's nothing down at the bottom. There is up at the top. Can someone get me up to speed with what Dave is doing right now? Yes, so we've done test printing and that has shown up some things we knew were there. There's some adjustments, final adjustments that need to be made on the color blocks. I left some of them a little bit too large because it's much too dangerous. If I cut them too small, we can't add more. But if I cut them too large, I can trim back a bit. So I'm just trying to identify the space, identify the place where to trim them. these were way too loud. You know, I don't know why I left that much. That's the green one. That's the blue one done. I think that leaves just the black. My own camera, yeah. Other way around. Okay, there we are. So a little bit on this side has to come. It's quite a chunk on this one, actually. Okay, now, one last thing to do on these blocks. I don't know if those who was here the other day, we were talking about the distressing job. Back on the original, many of the lines were really, I don't know, what's the word, distressed. They were scratched in imitation of brush work. These are actually carved, but they look like ink is running out of a brush. Some of the leaves themselves were done that way. Parts like this. Now the other day when I was finishing up here, I did some of this. I did a bit of distressing. Here's the result from this morning. Some of these things they're lightly bashed up and the edges are torn rather than smooth, but they're nowhere near as roughly distressed as in the original. Just this was because I didn't want to go too far. If you go too far, you can't take it back. And you can see, I've got a completely different taste. I've got room, I've got room to do a lot more of bashing and smashing on these things. Again, we don't want to do it too far, but what I'm going to do now, I'll spend the next 10 or 15 minutes here. I'm going to muck around with this a bit more, which means this is going to be a scope job. So what I'll do, let me locate the spot so you can be able to zoom in. Hang on a sec. Let me find the spot, get the light on. We're going to be working up here. then get the camera in here. Excuse me, it's going to be seasick time here. Zoom in. How close can we get before it gets fuzzy? I think we're okay. Might be good. Okay. So it's time to get stressed. Again, I'm not going to overdo it. Just 10 or 15 minutes of this on here before I move on to the next weeding job, which is something you haven't seen me do yet before, but whatever. It still has to be done tonight. Okay. No idea the conversation. How did Cameron enjoy his first day? I know, whatever. Like I said, he feels a bit funny because I told him, you don't need to do anything. Just hang, just chill, just sit here and watch and just, he can't do anything yet, so I didn't even pretend to ask him to do anything. Just hang out and sit, watch. And of course, he felt so dorky just hanging around and doing nothing, so he's trying to find ways to make himself useful and stuff like this. And I'm like, I don't care. Relax. Just listen and watch. Be a fly on the wall, So he's okay. He's hanging around. He watched customers. He even tried to answer a few questions from some of them. And I think we have a little bit shy guy here. Like he's probably listening. He's on the train on the way home listening. So whatever, I don't know. Bit shy, but that's he's new and quiet. He will come out of that little bit of a shell as soon, I think. I'm not looking for a monster. What's the word? A-type salesman type. I'm looking for a guy who will help me get this place organized and keep running it smoothly. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to be a sell. He's got to try and help build systems and help keep people motivated and just help us do the functions here. I'm the vision guy. I'll still be doing the vision for many years to come. But I really need help in running the place. And there's a really, really, I don't know, what's the word in my mind here? This is all upside down from the way things are supposed to be. Because, I don't know, those of you who've read my little sort of autobiography thing on my website, will have read about the experience when I was 21 or so. Very shy little boy. Hontoni shy, just withdrawn to the point where I couldn't talk to people. And I was in my first job. I'd been given a job in a music store because it was a friend of my father's and a friend of a friend of a friend. And the guy had been looking for employees, but when he saw me, he did not want to hire me. I was shy, withdrawn. He thought this kid is not going to be able to capable of doing anything. And at that age, I wasn't, whatever. But anyway, because of the arm twisting from my father's friend and going down the line, he did hire me. And it turned out to be a good mix. He was a rough, sort of semi-wild soap salesman, grabbing money from people and running his business and borrowing from the bank and kiting the checks and getting it all ready. Fabulous guy. Ran the business and just built a business from nothing, provided work for all of us, did good service for the community. We did beautiful musical instruments that weren't being supplied by anybody else. Just a wonderful thing. But he was so visionary and aggressive, and he couldn't do systems at all. So it turned out that my function at that place, and I was there off and on for 10 years, my job was to do the systems. I mean, this is 1971 and 72. There were no computers at the beginning. But I could put things together and organize rudimentary spreadsheets and put stuff in alphabetical order on the shelves and get it sorted out. All stuff that he just didn't have the time or personality or anything to do. And we worked together, he and I, for about 10 years. He was the vision guy, the energy guy, the guy coming up with the money, the guy directing where we should go, what we should do. He visioned the place and created it. And after I lost my shyness and after I got myself to be a good, reasonable adult, I ran the place for him. And we had a great partnership for 10 years or so. He was the visioneer, and I just ran the place. So the reason I tell this story now is, of course, it's what's happening now is turning out to be, at a totally different stage in my life, exactly the story the other way round. I've got the vision here now, but I'm stumbling and tripping all over myself and finding myself unable to actually keep the place together. So this is where we are. I'm now going to see the same game from the other side of the table, you know. I'll vision it, I'll run it, I'll work with it, find the money for the stuff we want to do. It's okay, I can do those things. I can keep everybody excited. And what I need him to do is just hold it together, you know. I'll drive, I'll press the accelerator. And I need help keeping the wheels on, you know. So have I chosen the right guy? Who knows? The next few months will tell, you know. He's nominally here 3 months on probation, but we really hired him. He quit his previous job to come here. He's moved his visa over to us. He's actually sold his house, his place he's living, to come here and do this. He and I both have really made this a real gamble. He's bet the farm on me. I haven't bet so much, but you know, I've committed. We've got an employment contract. I've committed to have him around here. But he's bet his farm, you know. We'll see how it goes. I can't remember what it's like to be 27 anymore, you know, whatever. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I always don't do enough of this, you know. I know I could do more, but I never... It seems always just so scary to rip off so much wood. Where are we now? It's really, really beaten up. Dave, do it. Just beat it up. It's okay. Some of these leaves too. Everybody okay over there? Sorry to ignore you. Where are we? Yeah, there was an earthquake a few minutes ago, about 5 o'clock. I felt it. Teiko-san didn't feel it. I guess I'm a bit more sensitive than she is. It seems to be no big deal. I know it was a very wide earthquake, but no specific strong, I know. No tsunami this time, I think, unless it's another one that I didn't feel. It was about 5 o'clock. Or is this earthquake a new one that I didn't hear? 5 o'clock we had one. It's the wood glue. People are asking about what glue I use to put those tracings onto the block. And both, there's a question of wood glue or gum arabic, and both are true. And I should, whatever, I don't know, when I'm pasting down a key block, something that has fine lines in it, I need a stronger glue. because when you've got a fine line key block on your page, on your wood, you carve along one side of the line. Let's pretend here you carve along one side of the line, and what happens is the line is so thin that you disturb the paper on top, and it peels off if the glue isn't very strong. So for key block work, that's when I use the wood glue that you're describing there. I use this stuff. What is it here? It's just your normal polyvinyl chloride, fast drying type. And I weaken it a bit. I'm spitting on the block and mixing some water in with it so it's not quite so strong and sticky. And that's for the key blocks. But for the color blocks, those blocks like this that have the smooth flat areas, you're only cutting around the outside, and you don't need anything to get in the way of moisture absorbing on this wood. So that's when I use the mucilage stuff, the gum arabic. So the two are completely different, and I guess, what can I say? I give this advice, and it turns out that people are semi-misunderstanding it. So, and the young boy doing our boss fights carving now, the key block, he's been consistently putting his glue on too strong, and when we get to the printing stage, there's a glue residue left on the block, and it interferes with the printing. And he and I have been wrestling about this. And he says, I need the strength, otherwise it peels off. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you finish a block and we can't print it. Now here we are, the moment of truth about the crest. Do enough of you know that story? The image that I was copying, there's 3 museums have copies of this. And the one I was copying, this is a photocopy of their museum thing. It has, where am I? Just a minute, let me try and find myself here, excuse me. Here we are. In all the little feathers on the owl's forehead, there's what looks like some kind of a peak, a little thing, standing up right between his eyes in the middle of his forehead. And it's clear, it's not a normal feather. It looked like something just standing up. So I carved it. I carved what I saw, carved the same thing on my block. And then the other day, somebody, I don't remember his name, I'm sorry, I'm being impolite about this. Somebody wrote to me saying he had checked carefully on the other versions of this that are on the net. And he had seen clearly on one of those versions that it wasn't, that it's individual feathers here. So the copy I'm copying, you can see it now, it's really distinct. There's a blob there, and it could be that it was just simply a blob of pigment got mixed up, and there's a feather, another feather, another feather. And the blob of pigment is in there, and it gave me the idea that it was a continuous thing, looking like some kind of little peak. So here I am, the moment of truth. We've done our test printing on this. We've got our own little peak there. Do I leave it, or do I cut it away? Says he, thinking what to do here. There's no right or wrong, really. It's, I am thinking that I am going to leave it, I'm thinking I'm going to leave it. Adds a little bit of originality. And I also like the idea, you may disagree here, I also like the idea of sort of leaving a mistake here. Not a mistake in the sense of, oh my God, Dave screwed up, but just leaving a little mistake here that some guy in the future who's doing his own reproduction of this, he's going to compare those 3 and he's going to see mine and he'll say, look at this, David didn't get it, he screwed up here. I kind of like the idea of leaving that in there. I'm not worried about having people feel that I made a mistake. I mean, all of this thing is just such, it's so loose, it doesn't matter. I kind of like the idea of leaving it there, I think. So the only thing now that's left for me on this block is just to have a look around at my test printing. Some feathers that are overly fat or sharp. I could spend all day on it, but there's this feather there with a straight edge. Which eye is it? It's the owl's left eye, opposite his pupil. So here it's the right, opposite the pupil. I already shaved it, got it. You could go all day trying to fix things here. At some point, as I said, it's just cut and print. Making some of these a bit thinner to help the printer, otherwise the pigment really gets stuck inside these things. This is the kind of luxury the original carver never would have had. Just carve it, throw it to the printers and get going on the next job. He would never have been allowed to do this, you know. Touch up, clean up, touch up, clean up. No way. Sorry about this, not such dramatic work, but it's still something I've got to get going here. I've got to, try and clean up a little bit as much as I can. It could be worse, it could be banging in your ears. Is the camera holding focus okay? They're still upstairs, and it's now well after 6 o'clock.今何包む練習ですか？
はい。
だんだん良くなりました？
ちょっと前より。
Can I see? It's okay, going on. More compared to mine when I did it the first times.
Yes.
Can I mention a couple of things?
Yes. Yes.
A couple of things. I know you're getting the shape quite nice.
Yes.
But one really, really, really important thing, maybe Suga-san didn't mention, is there's a line here.
Line.
You see what I mean? The line.
Yes.
And that has to match this line. You see what I mean? That line here. And at the moment, do you see what I mean? They don't line up. It's really important because once you're printing with this, we're moving exactly horizontally. So you're going to be holding this, but now this will be crooked. So this will be scraping on the paper, and that scrapes the paper. So try, it's okay. I'm not complaining at you. Good. But make sure these 2 points.
So should I put this line on the center?
Yes, of course. It must be horizontal. In other words, when you first start, once you've got your folding done and you break your first start, make sure you're lined up. It's really important once you start using it, because if imagine, for example, if you were using a brown like this, it's going to tear the paper. No, you're not. It's not that bad, but it should be absolutely perfectly straight. So
thank you.
good. No, looks good. Looks good. Looks good. I don't know if you noticed, this is Kota-san, one of the new trainees who's working on the print party jobs here. Matsumura-san desu ne. So. We're live today, so.
Yes, Twitch.
Here I'm complaining about you live on Twitch. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what you're saying here. Shows. I'll cut out the peak. So.
Someone coming.
We didn't lock the door yet. So the kids went upstairs to practice that and didn't lock the front door. Okay, this is going to go on all night. I know at some point we have to cut it. Say it's good enough, whatever. You can work on all of these things all day long. Let's do it. Let's leave this. Here we are. This owl is officially done. It's going to the printer tomorrow, over the weekend anyway. We're in for a 3-day long weekend here in Japan now. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday's a holiday. I forget what it's for. Something. It's not Old Folks' Day. We've had that already. So these blocks are now, this is the last time you'll see them. Say goodbye. Oh, it's an iPad stand for the store. So.
Can I put here?
Sure, whatever. Okay. Tomorrow's staff will take care of it. Okay. Now, what's next for me tonight? I'll also be needing the microscope for it. I'm not sure. It might be the kind of job many of you have never seen me do. I don't know. Let me get the light off first, just to explain what I'm doing. Package came just now from this is really just a good news situation. This is from Kanai-san, who's the girl who got pregnant for us just about 2 years ago, and she is now back in action. We're sending simple blocks to her at her home, and she's working when her baby infant is asleep, and she is back in action for us. She can't do the big work that she was doing before, and she did a job for us last week and it came in okay, and this is one that she's just sent back. And what she's done is she's printing the image. It's on a Hasui reproduction. This one, it's in our catalog. We prepared this a few months ago and it's been out of stock for a few weeks. She said she could do it, so she did. And what I have to do now is check her work, which is almost certainly going to be okay. But what I have to do is, because there's so many specks of bark and crap in the paper, before we can send it to our Ome workshop for packing and getting ready for presentation, I have to throw each one here under the microscope and have a look for bark check, bits of broken bark and stuff. お疲れ様です。今回の動作ですが、やはりもう少し強い方が良いかと思いました。She wants stronger sizing on the paper. 表面が少しだけ毛羽立ちました。the front side of the paper, fibers came picking up off the paper. So she's saying the sizing was a bit too weak. あと、時々紙の剣と部分が90度でないことがあったので、できれば直接きちんと出してもらえるともう少しやりやすいと思います。And I'm really so happy she's complained about this. What she's talking about is this. We prepared the paper up here, and one of our staff members, I'll keep his name off because there's a complaint here. One of our staff members prepared the paper for us. He and I do all the sizing work. Okay, good night. Yeah, see you later. Okay. Who's on staff? Me and just the two of us. So I'm on party duty tomorrow.
Party.
Okay, yeah, no problem, all right. Okay, thank you. Okay, just see you next week then. Okay, good night. What she's complaining about is this. I know he prepared the paper for her and cut it, and he didn't. 何、客？
大丈夫です。僕鍵持ってないから。
いや、今客さん？
いや、来てない。
じゃあとりあえず閉まってください。
いいですか？
カチャンと。Where was I? Just 6 things going on at the same time. Here we are. I know he prepared the paper for her, and he thought he was doing her a favor by cut, sending it all out. But he's not a printer, and he doesn't get how delicate and important some things are to us. And he didn't cut it 90 degrees. He's like, oh, about. And it doesn't work for us. If that corner isn't clean, sharp, 90 degrees, if it's 89 or 89.5 or 91 or something, especially if it's 91, we can't locate the corner and it doesn't go in. So she must have had to take each one and cut carefully to make them fit. So she's not complaining. Well, she is complaining. She's saying, oh, no, please, next time, 90 degrees or nothing. Just leave it large and she will cut the paper. But I've been complaining to him about this, so I'm really glad she has done it herself. So I'm going to keep this little memo. And pass it on. Anyway, let's have a look. Opening a package of prints from one of our printers. It's one of the fun parts of this job. It's no big deal. I think it's only about 60 copies of this. Ever seen this before? How can I show off for you? Here's the print. First impression, nice bokashi, good rich color, and we have, of course, a deck of them. And this is where it's fun for me, you know, just whatever. There's people that get this and people that don't get this. And one print is nice, it's wonderful and enjoyable, but a deck of them, there's just something. I told you before about that game when I got that little printing press kit when I was a kid, you know. These are not all going to be saleable. There's some at the bottom here. I see she stacked them up. Oh, I see. Okay. Here's what she's done. On the back of it here, she's cut the corner on some. Now this is still, we're going to be trimming them for sale, so she hasn't sliced into the print itself, but she's cut the corner on this group to let me know that these are the ones that she feels are substandard. Or they were the ones that she ran as test prints and stuff like this. And yeah, we can see, whatever. I don't want to show off her bad work, but yeah, the first few tests, color wasn't right, registration tests, stuff like that. So they're out, of course, automatically. Then the other thing, the thing that I'm going to want to check on her work that I'm not so happy with some of the kids, you know, like her that are working here, is there's sometimes for me too much variation. The goal really is to make these things exactly the same. I'm trying to pick an example here. Whatever, even right there, there's two right there. Side by side. I'm going to find a better example. Here we are, right here. Stuff like this. Do you see? We're looking at the trees in the distance behind the building here. There's a really tiny gradation on the top of this. And she's got one that's got some mist in that valley, and the next one has no mist in this valley. Whatever, this is within the parameters of the design of this print. This is a beautiful print, and this is a beautiful print. But I want her to get to the stage where we don't have that kind of variation between them anymore, you know. At this point, I don't even remember which model I gave her. Did it have that mist or not? I don't remember. But a really, really top-level professional printer would not have that much variation. And this is why these guys think I'm too harsh, or they think I'm too noisy. But I got to keep rubbing this at them. You know, you must reduce the variation to 0. we were upstairs this morning. I was doing my test printing on this, you know. Suga-san came in after a while and she's watching. And, you know, how well am I doing myself, you know, if I had been the one doing this job? No, she's about with the parameters that I would be working at myself. So it's not a question of trying to drag them up to my level. It's a question of trying to drag all of us up to a higher level. They're looking good, you know. I'm happy that we've got staff that can do work like this, you know. And the other thing too, the price. I mean, my God, these are going to go for $40 in our shop, and that's just unbelievable. It's world-class paper, carved beautifully, 本当に carefully printed, one by one by one. I'm going to ramble. Sorry, I'm going to ramble. Okay, my job is to see if there are any defects in terms of, the bark and stuff. Print like this, you know, it's much easier. Print like these, which have all these open spaces, it's much more likely that you can see the bark scraps. On a print like this, they get buried. So we may just end up with nothing here for me to take out. I'm just going a very quiet chat today. Sorry, like I said, it's a bit of a mixed up stream today here. No main steady work on any one single thing. I'm sorry. Time for a drink. Where's my glasses? Let's see. I don't know if I mentioned, this is Hasui, Kawase Hasui. And he's been dead long enough that his work is now in the public domain. So we have no permission to use this, but we don't need permission anymore. He died in 1957, so his work came open in 2007. All done, you guys? You're late tonight. Go home, go home. Huh? Ah, そっか. You're waiting till the rain stops, is that it? かなえさんからそうかわいいというかわいいっていうかあ、そうこれかわいいなんかNo, how about this one? ミミズクもかわいいでもかわいいというかわいいその言葉の意味僕ちょっとわかんないよでも大きいやつよりはかわいい感じするbecause it's cute because it's small 小さいから小さくてこれはかわいいとわかりますねそっかThis is Sugi-san. She says this is kawaii, and that's not the way I would myself think of this kind of word. Okay. So if you imagine this as being a big oban print, nobody would say that. But because it's so small, そうよね。ちっちゃいから可愛いかも。チビですから。チビですから。Okay. なんかそれわかるわ。ほらマッチの絵とかすごく可愛い。わかります。なんかちっちゃいのにギュってこうなんかいろんな要素が。そう。She's still using too much pressure. また。押しすぎです。Too much pressure. バランスじゃない。全部線がこの例えばこの周りの線でしょ。Too much pressure. It's なんちゅうの。滲んでこの紙の折れ目じゃなくて No, I'm not talking about the top. I'm talking about the line, the carved lines. There's just too much physical pressure. I want a lighter touch. 元からガタガタ Oh, so もちろん it's not a smooth line, but she's just pressing too hard. Like, to my taste, she's doing to her own taste, but you can see in many places if you hold up the light. It's just too much pressure. I don't want that violence. I don't want to see the violence. I'll get some paper. But I'm happy. They're so live tuneですね. So what's the story? Take us on. You're off to next week, right? すぐさんは週末、火曜日月曜日。でも月曜日は体育の日でしょ？
そう、体育の日でお休みなんですけど、来ます。
あ、そう？旦那さん OK？
で、火曜日と月曜日と火曜日来て、水曜日お休みします。
OK。僕は火曜日多め行きますね。
じゃあここもしかしたら河合さん来るか、あれ河合さんも全部終わったんだっけ？
わかんない。じゃあ月曜日今の終わったばかりのもの。じゃあちょっと忘れないで。私絶対多め持ってきたいんですから。
そうだ。雨終わったばっかチェックしないと。月曜日。なんか練習っていうか試しでなんだっけな。あれ弁慶橋じゃなくて。
弁慶橋でしょ。弁慶橋でしょ。
弁慶橋。板も上持ってあげればよかったですね。もういいか。
もういいです。明日石川さんが来るんですけど。じゃあ僕一緒に
じゃあお疲れ様です。
Okay, good night. See you next time. Thank you. I think that's it. They're all gone. And you're not going to hear the ping pong because it seems to be broken. Something went wrong with it this afternoon. I'm not finding a whole lot wrong with these. There's a couple I've got to reject on a paper. For example, here's one. This is mottainai. This is really a waste. There's sometimes like this. I don't know if it'll see. Let's try and get zoomed in here. Can you see? Let's see. Yeah, you can see it. Look, see? There's a white line in the sky here. What that is it's in the paper, the mulberry fiber. The paper maker, he smashes up the fibers and gets them in the tank and some. But if they don't smash enough, the fiber is in clumps and clumps and clumps. And he's pretty good at it, but he's not 100%. And at that point in the paper here, we couldn't see it before we start printing because it's invisible. It's just a clump of mulberry fibers inside the paper. But it's there, and once you start printing a smooth color on top of that, that clump of fibers is tight together and it doesn't take pigment inside it, and bingo, you end up with something like that. And there's no way we can sell that, so that's got an X, that goes out. And that's her risk, she won't get paid for that. If she makes a mess on it and it's no good, she won't get paid. But even one like this, and if it turned out that there was a lot of these, in other words, I've done a bad job by buying crap paper, then it's not fair to penalize her for it. So we throw them in the pay pile. There's always a balance. Whose risk is on each part of this, She trusts me to send her usable paper. There's more, They're all over the place. That one was in the sky, so here's another one. We'll leave this one. This is the same thing, but it's turned out that the paper, it came here. Wall. You see it? That sort of funny defect in the middle of that wall. I think we'll leave this one. It's the same thing. That line has come from a paper clump. But because it's in an area where there's gradations and different textures and different tones, I think we can fly that. It's when it's up in an open sky that it makes a difference. So if I had to reject every one of them, I would reject every one of them. But we can't. This is a complicated little print, We reversed engineered it. We say I reversed engineered it. It was published by the Watanabe Company in, I don't know, pre-war, I guess. He died in 1957. This would have been pre-war, I think. And I have a copy myself of an early copy, so it would have been made in the 1930s or 40s or something. And once Hasui died and it became acceptable to use his stuff, I've got some of his prints, and I don't have the blocks. Watanabe Company has those blocks, and they're not about to show them to anybody. So I've got to reverse engineer it. So I had this image, and I had to go back through and think what blue is under what gray is under what brown, and how's the overlaps, and how does this work. And I came out, I think pretty well. I can't guarantee that my block arrangement is exactly the same as the old 1930s version, but our print looks very, very similar. Reverse engineering. There's just one spot on this whole print that's left the design. They must have done this on purpose. There's one spot, the white paper. Of course, it's the end wall on this building. It's supposed to be like a whitewash type plaster. And is this a good idea or a bad idea? And it's the only bare paper left on this print. And when you see it under a side light, it just pops out, and I think it's kind of too much, All the rest of it, other places that really are nominally white, the white plaster on this building, for example, they've toned it with a blue and a gray. For some reason, they left this one. I guess a highlight. He's an artist. He wanted this focus highlight, Too much? I don't know. Here's another way to reject, and this is my fault. You can see this. Sorry about that, moving around here. You see something? On the pagoda here? The dot. And what that is, it's when either myself, can I get closer? I don't know if you can see it. When myself or Aoyama-san was doing the sizing on this, we were a little bit careless, and maybe one speck of glue got stuck together or stuck on the rollers, or we didn't filter it properly, and a bit of hard glue went through into the sizing, ended up on the paper. No, it's done. And as luck would have it, it went right into a place. Well, it could have been worse, it could have been in the sky. So anyway, no way, this one's coming out, so another X. There's just paper defects in every single freaking one of these sheets. Paper, paper, paper. Calls himself a living national treasure. See it? It's a single bunch of clump of fibers of mulberry going sideways. I probably won't be enough to reject this, because when you look at the print overall, it's not eye-catching, but it's there. It shouldn't be there. And every single print has stuff like that scattered through it. The new young guy who's coming on board for us, making paper for us now, he's busy already on the first batch for us. There's another one. See it? Look at this. It's a splotch of light color, and that's because there's a clump of mulberry fibers in there that don't pick up the color. That's too much, right stuck in my eyes, too much. I don't see much bark in this batch. I'm sure there's plenty there, but it's all getting hidden by the color. So there really isn't going to be... Oh, there's one right there. Just like I just said, there's no bark, and right away we get one. Here we go. See it? Scrap of bark right in the sky. Dr. Will maybe can do surgery here. Let's collect these. I got 2 or 3. Let's get these set aside. When I get to the bottom of the pile, let's try. Again, sorry for the unexciting nature of the stream here tonight. This is work that I have to do, and today was just too busy to do anything else. So, paper, yeah. No, the older paper didn't have such defects. The older paper was freaking perfect, or as close as perfect it could be. You look at any Meiji print. I've got Meiji prints in the shop. I got hundreds of them in my own collection. And they are perfect. The paper is smooth. It's a calendared smooth. You hold it up to light and there's not a mark in it. You never see these clumps. And it's not that they filtered them out and threw away the bad stuff and just put the good into the market. Other way around. They printed and sold everything. Just standards were different. Different things were important. Here's another one. You see it? It's a white stripe up in the sky, you know. Not so bad, I don't know. Pass, fail, pass. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Get the light correct here, just a sec. You can see it there, right? Look at this. It's that white curve. It looks like a hair on the front of the print. It's a clump of mulberry fiber that just wasn't properly washed out in the batch. No way, and she can't see them before printing because they're invisible in the paper by itself. Paper, paper, paper. I can't wait to make that change. Get the new guys up and running. The first batch is coming in a couple of months. Money set aside for it. Oh. Do you need me to point it out? Look at it. It's a giant, looks like a comet flying down in the sky. See it? Look at this. Look at that. Calls himself a living national treasure. I'd send it back. If that was me, I'd send it back. I mean, send back my designation as a living national treasure. I gotta shut up. I'm gonna get in trouble. Whatever. Here's another. This one's my fault. Maybe. I'm not sure. Could be sizing. See the white dot? Right there. Could be glue. Too much glue. Or maybe it could be her. No idea. That might come out. Let's have a go at that. Yeah, she put the bad ones at the bottom. That's what she's done. Look at this. That sky's awful. Hee hee hee. Hoping I'd get bored and wouldn't check all the way through to the bottom. Oh, come on, come on, come on. No, this is a sky. She's had real trouble at the beginning with the sky. I don't know. You can see. If I pick one from the beginning of her, she's got them all lined up, obviously. So you can see. We're getting a good blue coming all the way down, and it's way, way, way too weak in the sky at the bottom. Way, way too weak. I think if that had been me, I would have actually printed that sky once more to richen it up. No, not even close. Okay. All right. Now we've got a few here that maybe I can fix under the scope. Let's see. One or two that maybe I can fix. Let's put them upside down here so I know which ones are which. Bring in the scope. And I'm almost sure in that chat right now, people are saying, what are you going to do with those things? Well, they are not going to be sold, that's for sure. Sorry. That's just the way it goes. They go in drawers. They get parked. Here we go. And I'll be showing them to her, of course. Next time I see her. It's a bit difficult because she's working at home and she's not here. But they'll go in an envelope. And next time I see her, I'll sit and chat with her about what's this, The paper problems, we can't, she's just going to say, what do you want me to do? I think we got that one. Got it. Bingo. It was a little stone inside the paper. Just had to cut the top of the paper open, the stone came out. A touch of glue puts the paper back down. When I say glue, I mean the same glue that we use when we do the printing. Very nice. Saved one. What was wrong with this one? Oh yeah, that dot in the sky. This is bark. I don't know if I can get it. Dr. Dave, yes, paging Dr. Dave. It's a great joke, wonderful. I think we got it. Good. Let's have a look. I do believe I've saved 2 lives here tonight. Where's the backboard? I do believe I've saved another life. What was this one? Oh yeah. Wrong glasses here. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, why I picked this one out. There's a black bark dot there. Got it. And the last 2, what were they in here for? Let's see, well, this one was the glue. Oh yeah, I see. I don't think I can do that because when there's a bit of too much glue, it means pigment doesn't go in, so it's left a spot with no pigment. Yeah, no, I can't do anything with this one. There's, you can start sitting here trying to paint on the front of these things. We don't do that. That's where we draw the line. I know. We will cut scraps of bark out of these things. We will take the little stone that was inside that washi there, pull that out. But where we draw the line is we don't start painting over any mistakes. There's a bit there with blue pigment missing. Whatever, get a brush, dip it, mix the color, touch. We just don't do that. A print is a print. We'll try and fix one of the paper defects, but we don't start kind of retouching, not even on expensive ones. We don't do retouching. It's just not the nature of the job, you know. And the prints have such a texture, you know, such a texture to see them, that anything like that would really start to become visible. You got paint on the front of one of these things, and it's going to show as soon as you put it under a side light. So we don't do that. We don't play that game. All right, it's a really, really mixed up day today. I'm sorry. This is, pretty much, these are the jobs on my bench today. They had to be done. So thanks for your patience while I, dithered around with this stuff. How many did we lose there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 plus the ones she marked as out, so can't be helped. Okay, we're at the end of the day here. What's the schedule? Today is Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday. What will the streams be? What's the next jobs on my desk? There's two things, and I've been sort of postponing it. I had to get that owl done because that was really a priority job, but now that's off my desk. The next thing that's priority is the Kickstarter campaign. And to speak of Kickstarter campaign means two things. One, I have got now to finish up the color separation work, which I started about over a week ago, right here at this desk. So that's probably going to be tomorrow morning's work. I'll be working again on these color separations for the first of the boss fights prints. Then in the evening, almost certainly I won't be doing this. I'll be working on a YouTube video because the natives are getting restless like crazy. I'm getting daily emails. I'm getting people posting on other videos. Dave, when's the next video? The YouTube views are plunging. The YouTube algorithm thinks I'm dead or something. I've got to get back and do another YouTube video. So that's going to be my work for the evenings on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So the bad news, I'm sorry for people who can only see the evening stream. The next 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, there may not be a stream because I have to make a YouTube video. Maybe we'll do what I did the other day. Put this camera up, pointing at me while I do my recording. I don't know. I'll try and do something like that if I can. But other than that, I'm sorry. I might just have to put this away for a while. I'm going to get back to work on this color separations. So again, leave it a bit vague. I'm not sure exactly what's happening the next couple of days. I have every intention of being here in the mornings with a stream for this color separation. Evenings, don't hold your breath if I'm not here, please. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm heading off for dinner. It's been a scrappy stream. We win some, we lose some. Something learned, something not learned, I don't know. Thanks again for your patience with all this stuff. Thank you very much, guys. Good night. Somebody's asking, can I use clips from these streams for the video? Yes, I can, but I can't just do highlight reels. I've got to make new, original, interesting YouTube videos about our printing work. It can't all be highlight streams. Thanks very much, guys. Good night.